This is what I'm listening to, this is what I think you should listen to, and this is what we should dance to. And get sand in our toes. Unless you live in a state without water, then we can just get dirt in our toes. Little toe jam. Toe jam! Toe jam! Hey guys, welcome back to Jukebox Selects. I am safetytess, better known as Tess, and this is Jukebox Selects. I'm wearing a rainbow shirt. It's time to live. Let's take these glasses off, because if we had them on the whole entire episode, you'd be like, where are your eyes? This is a video-led playlist with lots of fun facts, but there is also a best friend attending this party, and their name is Spotify, and there will be a Spotify playlist linked down below with extra songs that are not mentioned in this video. I will also link down below a Jukebox Selects playlist that will have all the past Jukebox Selects, as well as if you want to watch the summer playlists that have happened before this, so you could just add all your summer playlists together, and then you're just like, summer, 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 summer! When you didn't even know it was happening, you were like, wait a minute, it was just snowing outside. Let's get right into the playlist. The first song on the playlist is Wawa by George Harrison. Just a couple days ago, I was making dinner and I decided to listen to George Harrison. I don't know what happened. And I listened to All Things Must Pass, which is George Harrison's first solo album, which was actually the first release after the Beatles broke up. Bet you didn't know that. Maybe you did, you know? Well, then I was driving with my parents and I was like, wait a minute. What does Wawa mean? So I tried to listen to the song and decode it myself and realized that I didn't really know. So I kind of Googled it, and it turns out Wawa is a Hindu word, but Wawa is also an English word. And it's basically just means the musical, like, brass instrument that creates a vocal sound, you know, like the pedals or the whammy, you know, creates a wah-wah. So in this song, George kind of references, like, he doesn't need Wawa, but he wants Wawa. So I think he's just referencing his career with the Beatles. I have no idea, but Wawa's a jam. The next song is Fred Astaire by San Cisco.
You'd be better with Fred Astaire. He can take you anywhere if you ask him to. And God knows that it's a common misconception.
Now, I chose this song because I was in Tulsa. I heard it in the elevator. And if you know me at all, you know I like all things retro, and I love Fred Astaire. If you're not familiar with Fred Astaire, he's like the king of the golden age of Hollywood dance. Like, just look up Fred Astaire compilation, and you'll just be like, oh my gosh, this man could dance. And he didn't even think he could sing or act very well, but he knew he could dance. But he was actually a triple threat, and I think he needs to give himself more credit. And this song basically talks about how the guy thinks the girl deserves Fred Astaire over him, and it's just entertaining. And it makes me do this kind of move. 59 Street Bridge Song, Feeling Groovy by Harpers Bazaar.
The morning last just kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun and feeling groovy. Groovy, groovy. Feeling groovy.
Now, I chose this one because my dad did this thing that I would do, and then he was like, I did this because of you, and it's so true. He bought an album because of the cover. He was like, oh, you know, we think like my dad is the land of misfit toys and I'm the land of misfit records, and I'll buy an album because of the way it looks on the cover. And he bought this album because of the way it looked on the cover, and then he ended up knowing a bunch of songs off of it. But if I could live inside of a song, or if I could be a song for the rest of my life, it would be Feeling Groovy by Harpers Bazaar, because I just feel like it's so light and airy, and I could just float around inside of it for the rest of my life. Or beyond the rest of my life, because if I'm floating inside of a song, I think technology has advanced. Sweet Creature by Harry Styles.
But oh, sweet creature, wherever I go,
Now you're like, Tess, okay, we already know Harry's great, and a bunch of the people that weren't on the One Direction train have hopped on the Harry Styles train. Welcome to the fun. We've been here for like 6 or 7 years. It's been a long time. But I chose this song because a lot of people like dissect and connect songs to romantic relationships, and I think that this song is a love letter to Harry's sibling, which he has a sister, and I've never been able to like encompass the love I feel for my brother, because if everyone left me and nothing was left, even though we fight and like we kind of hate each other, kind of love each other, he would be there in the end. And there was a time in my life when my brother was the only person that was there for me, and this song captures that moment for me, and I really appreciate it. So go and listen to it and think about it a little bit differently. Don't always assume a song is romantically based. It talks a lot about like running around the garden, and it says 2 hearts in 1 home, which kind of reminds me of like, you know, growing inside of your mom's belly. 2 hearts in 1 home. They started out as 2 hearts in 1 home. Not necessarily that they were twins, but they both had the same home. I just feel like it's a sibling love song, and I think that that's just really cool and different. There's so many songs about romantic love that it's cool to kind of find something that's a little bit different. All You Want to Do Is Dance, Tom Dorsey and the Clambake 7.
The music is playing, a song that invites romance, but all you want to do is dance.
Now, don't ask me why a big band instrumental bass singing song ended up in here. It just happens, and just act like it's the intermission in your playlist if you're not too fond of it, and just go get a snack. But it really ebbs and flows, you know? You got all these modern and, you know, semi-modern, like 60s, 70s songs, and then we just flow into something like 30s, 40s, and we flow right back into what we're used to. It wouldn't be a playlist that I made if it didn't have some sort of random thing in it. Radio, Sylvan Esso. Now, this one is such a bop, and if you haven't listened to it, please go listen to it. And there's a part where they're like 3.30, and I do this in the car every time. Maybe that's the lyrics. Maybe I should have looked up the lyrics. Is it 3.30? Radio is a bop, and Sylvan Esso are so talented. If you watch my South by Southwest video, you would see that all of the people in the audience when I went and saw them were like, could not stop themselves. And it's 2 people. An electronic duo, Sylvan Esso. Check them out. The Wild One, Suzi Quatro.
All my life I wanted to be somebody, and here I am. I know what I got, and there ain't nobody gonna take it away from me. So let me tell you what I am. I'm a red hot fox, so I can take the night.
Now, I chose this because I watched Girl Boss, and they start the series with this song. By the way, Girl Boss, great. Also, great soundtrack. They start the show off with this song, and I think you should start every day of your life off with this song. It makes me feel so bad and cool. Roll the windows down, even though I wouldn't do that in South Texas because it's so hot. Summertime Blues, version 2, TRex.
And he said, whoa, I'd like to help you, son. Too young to go. Sometimes I wonder what I'm supposed to do. But there ain't no cure for the summertime.
Now, this is a cover of an Eddie Cochran song. Eddie Cochran did write this song, and you're probably familiar with the original. It is on the 500 Greatest Songs of All Time list by Rolling Stone. But this is a different take by glam rocker TRex, who I love very dearly, and I thought it's perfect. Summertime Blues with a little bit of different vibe just thrown in there. It's really interesting to know that political songs of the 60s and 70s are relevant right now in our time. And I've been thinking about making a whole playlist of political songs from the past that are relevant now. But I just thought I'd toss one in here that I feel like most people probably are familiar with to some degree. But if you aren't, I want to be like, hey, here you go. This is really cool. You should check it out. And that is Revolution by the Beatles.
Say you want a revolution.
Now, there are 3 versions of this song. There's Revolution 1, Revolution 9, and Revolution. Revolution was released on a single, Opposite Side of Hey Jude, and it is a fast version of the first release White Album version that was very slow. And then Revolution 9 is a very experimental version of the song. And my favorite has always been the fast one. I think it's because it's got a scream in it. I feel like I can put my fist up to it. It's shown very politically and across the universe if you're familiar with that Beatles-led movie. But Revolution by the Beatles, happy 50th anniversary of Sgt. Pepper, the end. Even though this is not off of Sgt. Pepper, just happy 50th of Sgt. Pepper. That's a great album too, beginning to finish. Listen to it. Last but definitely not least goes to the best of the best, Mr. Jack Antonov's project, Bleachers, My Dear Friend, and it's a song off his new album, Let's Get Married.
Singing, honey, let's get married. Now I don't walk alone. So let's get married. I don't walk alone. Let's just get married.
Now, I've only been listening to this album for a few days, and this is the one that kind of stood out to me outside of the ones that I already knew that were pre-released. And I feel like it's just like a nice little, let's get married companionship song. I like the talking breaks. I feel like it's kind of like a weird musical program with the talking breaks, and I feel like that's fun. I like that. Good job, Jack, and whoever else helped with this. 10 out of 10 once again. Can we talk about how I have a glitter wand that we bought at Bonnaroo? And you put glitter inside of here, and then you shake it like this, and it just goes on you. Like a beautiful rain of glitter. It's made of glass. It's like my magic wand of scariness for people who are afraid of glitter. Well, that's all I have for you guys. Don't forget that there will be a link to a playlist down below, as well as all the past Jukebox selects that you may have missed or you may not have missed. But that's all I have for you guys. Until next time, have a great day, a great night, and a great life. I'll see you very soon. Bye!
Every time I call my baby, try to get a date. My boss says,
No die, son, you gotta work late.
sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, but there ain't no cure for the summertime blues.
I wish I had the force all the time. I just wish I had the force all the time so I could just get things and then they'd be in the shot and I'd be like, cool. Shout out to my mom for literally being the coolest garage sale person. She was like, hey, I saw this stamp, you put wax on an envelope and you stamp it, and I thought you might want it. Yes. Yes. Coolest thing ever.